Okay, and welcome back. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to create a way for our Scratch Cat to get points. Very first thing, let's just go ahead and jump into it. We're going to go and click right here on the guy with the silly hair, and we're going to find the ball sprite. Click on the ball, click OK. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the ball that I did to the Scratch Cat at the beginning. Is I'm going to shrink it by clicking the shrink button and clicking it just a little bit down. How about a little bit more? There we go. I'm going to click him and drag him all the way up here. And then I'm going to say events, when the green flag is clicked, to motion, go to there. Remember, these numbers auto-update whenever we place it, so it's fine. So now what I need to do is I need to set up something for when the Scratch Cat touches the ball, what's going to happen? Well, let's go ahead and say that control forever if sensing touching the mouse pointer, and then change that to touching cat 1 or Scratch or sprite 1. What should happen? Well, we need to change up. You know what we forgot? We forgot to add a variable for points. So let's go ahead and do that now. Make a variable, and let's title it points for all sprites. That means that it's a universal variable. All the sprites can see it. Click OK. So we're going to change points by 1. After we change points by 1, then we need to hide. So go to looks and hide it, because we don't want it to show up again. Because we don't want it to show up again after we clicked it. We want our Scratch Cat to be able to get the ball and know that, okay, I got a point for that one, but I can't get any more points. Let's just go ahead and test this really quickly. I'm going to click the green flag. Move him right there. Up, up, up. Yep. Okay, so it disappeared and our point changed to 1. But the problem is that when I reset my game by clicking the green flag, the ball doesn't show back up. So I want to go back to my ball, and I want to stay in looks, and I want to find show. And I don't want to put it inside forever. I want to put it on when the green flag is clicked. So when the green flag is clicked, it's going to show up. It's going to go to this position, and then if this thing happens, if it touches the cat, it's going to change all the points. So that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and duplicate this by going down here to sprites, right click, duplicate, click on ball 2. Now, there's 2 of these balls, and they're stacked up on top of each other right now. And I don't want them to appear in the same spot. For instance, this ball number 2, it's not disappearing when I'm clicking the green flag right now. It's going to that original spot. So let's move ball 2. I'm going to say I'm going to move it down here. And then all I have to do is this. I just take out forever. I delete this one. And then I go to motion and get go to. And it should be fixed. Let's test it out. Yep, and now I have 2. So do that 2 more times. Duplicate. Let's move him right here. Delete the go to. Very good. Duplicate it again. Down here. Take out forever. Excellent. And you know what? Let's add a 5th one right in the middle right there. I think the 5th is getting lonely. There we go. Now, remember, if we're using a variable to keep track of something like a score or a time or anything like that, we want it to always reset when the game starts over. So go back to the Scratch Cat, and we already have a bunch of code for the Scratch Cat. So we can really put this anywhere, but just for the sake of continuity and trying to keep things simple, I'm going to click on Data while I'm inside the Scratch Cat, and I'm going to find set points to 0, and I'm just going to put it underneath when the green flag is clicked. So now when I click, my points reset to 0. And now we can test out our maze. I'm just going to drag my scratch pad around right here and test it out. Very good. So now what we can do is we can add a little reminder. We can add a little notification to our code so that when we touch one of our balls and get a point, we can actually hear something. So let's go ahead and stop that right there. And I'm going to go to ball 1, and it might take a little bit, but it's okay. I'm going to go to sounds. I'm going to get the sound pop. I'm just going to put play sound pop right there. I can do that to all of them. Play sound pop. Probably would have been better to do this when I was duplicating them. There we go. Now, we click our green flag, and our sprite touches something. Yep, we get a little pop. Yep, sounds good. Okay, next step. Let's say that you are playing this against a friend, and you wanted not only to be able to score points against your friend, but you also want to set up a timer. You want to make this a timed maze. How quickly can you solve it? Can I solve it quicker than you? So that means that we need to create a timer. So remember, a variable is just anything that changes, and of course, the passage of time is something that changes. So we're going to use a variable for our timer. And a timer is really easy to set up, and we can set it up in any of these sprites right here. And in fact, I think what we should do is I think we should set it up inside of, let's set it up inside of the stage, actually. So click on the stage right here. Now, the only difference between a sprite and the stage really is that there aren't any motion blocks for the stage. So you can see right here, I've clicked on the stage. I've clicked on the stage, and I'm on my motion blocks, and there are no motion blocks for the stage. That's okay. We don't need motion blocks for the stage. Let's go ahead and set up our timer now. Go to Data and click on Make a Variable, and just type in timer. Excellent. So now we have points and we have our timer. And I'll go ahead and move timer. How about over here? Excellent. So now, events, when the green flag is clicked, of course, we always want our time to start at 0. So we're going to say data, set timer to 0, and then we're going to say control forever, wait 1 second, and then change timer by 1. So now, every second, it's changing timer by 1. So it's literally just like a watch. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have our timer set up. And now I can click stop. I can click the green flag. And I can actually do a run of my maze. Where I'm starting my maze is, of course, the beginning, right? But we can see the end of the maze, and we know where the end of the maze is, but the computer doesn't know where or what the end of the maze is. So we would actually need to tell it. When you start something and when you finish something, like a race, your timer usually starts, and then when you finish the race, the timer stops. But look what happens when I exit the maze. The timer keeps going. So we want to fix that. We want to make it so the computer knows when to start and when to stop the timer. So I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this code right here, just the forever loop. So I'm going to click out and delete that. So we need to set up our computer so that it knows when to start and when to stop the timer. Let's create a start line and a finish line. Let's go ahead and click on backdrops right up there. And let's make some changes to this. I'm going to duplicate the original maze by right-clicking and clicking on duplicate. So now I have 1, 2, 3. And on the third one, I'm going to draw a starting line and a finish line. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on the line tool right here. And then I'm going to use this little slider to make my line thicker. So I'm going to click on the line tool. I'm going to increase the size of the line. And then I'm going to select the blue color or a blue color for my starting point. So I'm going to click on blue. And you can choose whatever blue you want. That really doesn't matter. And this is the start. So I'm going to click and drag. So I have a starting line. And then I'm going to choose a red color, and I'm going to click and drag for my finish line. So that's going to be the start and the stop, okay? So now what we actually need to do is we need to go back to our scratch cat, because our scratch cat is the thing that's actually going to be starting and stopping the timer. So actually for right now, go ahead and inside of timer, get rid of this too. Let's go back to the scratch cat. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to move it over to the side. There we go. Got a lot of code in the scratch cat. Zoom in just a little bit more so we can see that better. And so now what we should do is when the scratch cat crosses the blue line, the timer should start. And when we cross the red line, the timer should stop. So for that, we're going to use a broadcast. So let's try this out. Events, when the green flag is clicked. Data, set timer to 0. Okay, let's see. Then we'll say control forever if sensing touching color. And I know it says purple right now, but what you do is you're going to get that out anyway. Plug it in, and then what you do is you click on the color, just like in our lines, or just like when we did the maze to the walls. You click on that color, and then click on blue. There we go. So then forever, if touching color, we're going to set out a broadcast. Events, broadcast message, and we'll just say start. So now, when we receive the message start, we're going to forever wait 1 second and change timer by 1. Now let's set up the opposite of that. Let's drag this out and duplicate it. And then we're going to say, in the second one, if touching color red now, so click on blue, red, we're going to broadcast a new message, end. Okay, so when I receive, under events, when I receive message not start, message end. Well, what should happen? I can't say forever stop. I think I know. So this is an instance where we're going to use a variable to help us out with another problem. What we're going to do is right now is we're going to delete just when I receive message, start and end, and we're going to leave this right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set up a new variable. So click on data and click make new variable, and we're going to say game start. Okay, and at the beginning, when we get the green flag clicked, we're going to say set game start to 0.
Hey Udemy, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like I need to interject here and talk about the game start variable that we just created in our maze game. We're using the game start variable to tell the computer when our game is on and when our game is off. You can think about it this way. Your TV can be either on or off. Now, even though your TV can do lots of things when it's on, it really only has 2 states, on and off. A simpler example would be the flashlight on your phone. The flashlight right here can either be off or on. It has two states, on and off. We're gonna say that off in game start is going to be 0 and that on is 1. It's just a way that we can signal to the computer to do something new. And now back to the game.
So we're going to set this up like this. We're going to say that game start is like our on-off switch. So now what we're going to say is if we touch the color blue, we're going to turn our game on. So then we're going to say when we broadcast this signal, so when I receive start, we're going to then set game start to 1. So our game has been turned on. And then we're going to say events when I receive end, we're going to set game start to 0. So now we have on and off inside of this forever statement. Actually, you know what we can do? So now that we have this set up, now we can create a new green flag statement. So I'm going to take this and move it over. Whoop, and let me scooch back right over here. And let's go. Now that we have the condition set up so that our game can be turned off and on, we need to tell the timer what to do and how to change. So that's really easy. We're just going to go to events when the green flag is clicked, control, forever, and then we're going to get a new if statement or an if then else statement. We're going to drag it in right here. And we're going to say if game start from the orange data blocks, green operators, if it's greater than 0, then what we're going to do is we're going if it's greater than 0, we're going to control, wait 1 second, and then we're going to change, not game start, but timer by 1, and then if it's not greater than 0, if it's just 0, then we're not going to do anything. So we can actually just leave the else part blank. So let's see if that works. I have my timer, my points. Let's test and see if this works. Okay, my timer's at 0 and I've clicked the green flag. So does it start when I cross the blue line? Let's check. Okay, yes, so my timer has started. I'm just going to try and go really quickly. I got a point there. I guess game start was covering it up. And I'm going to jump ahead right here. Okay, I'm at this finish line and I've gone under 25 seconds. So let's see what happens. The timer should stop when I cross the red line. It stopped. Excellent. So now our timer starts and stops, and I can say, I beat your maze in 31 seconds. I bet you can't beat that. Now, if you don't want to see this game start, this game on and off, you can actually click the little checkpoint right here, and it goes away. And that's it for the maze.